What's up, everybody? I want to thank you for tuning in to Catching Up with Coach Show here in the city of Millville, offered up by the Positive Vibes Community Group, where we do community work for youth and families, and we just advocate all around. I want to give a shout out to Quinn Broadcasting for giving us this platform. We have an awesome show lined up for you today. We're going to have a young man in, Devin, the CEO of Applied Pressure, Stay Humble. You know, a great young man, academically, sports-wise. So I'm looking forward to having him on for our positive highlight segment. But what I want to talk about in the intro today is when it comes to positivity and pushing the agenda of doing good, right? We seem to have a problem of conveying our message consistently. And it's because I feel as though there's a lack of urgency when it comes to positive people mobilizing together consistently in order for us to change our community for the better and for the good. It seems that we get slack in our job to just think like somebody else will do it. But we have to understand that it takes all of us banding together in order for us to change the negative statistics that we see day to day in our community. Because the only way that you're going to overcome hate is with love. And that's a quote from Martin Luther King Jr. And that's so true. The only way we're going to overcome negativity is through positivity. But negative people seem to always be on their posts. You can't slip up not one little bit or one iota without somebody catching it, right? But when people do positive things, including our kids, it's so hard for that to get any attention, any likes, any shares, any comments. Let's just talk about it in the sports sense. You can have somebody like LeBron James. He can make 50 shots in a row, but everybody's going to comment about the one missed shot at the end of a game. He can win 10 games in a row, lose one game, everybody highlight the loss. And it's the same way in our community. Everybody want to highlight the negativity, and nobody highlights the good that's being done. I put a post up not that long ago where I said, you have a city like Millville, I think the population is close to 30,000. If not, maybe 40,000. I'm not sure the exact number. But you can have, say, 95% of that populace doing the right thing and 5% doing the wrong thing. And the 5% is the one that gets highlighted the most and leads every conversation. And it affects everybody's viewpoint of cities, states, countries. And that always amazes me, where you can have millions upon millions and millions of people doing the right thing and only a couple hundred doing the wrong thing, and that will affect the whole viewpoint of a whole region, of a culture. And that's something that we as positive people have to continue to fight against and let people know, like, nah, it's a lot of people doing good, and it's more good than bad. We just have to find the platforms to just continue to highlight the people who are doing what they are supposed to, right? And the people that I want to challenge is the powers that be, the police departments, school officials, politicians, community leaders, coaches, parents. Everybody have to band together to understand we're all in this for one common goal, and that's to help our young people have a community that's conducive for learning and less chaotic and less sporadic with one person over here trying to do good, somebody over here trying to do good. But when kids get a consistent message and it's constantly reinforced at home, in school, out in the public, then that's when we can continue to further our reach. But when they get to school and they say, well, nah, we're not going to connect with your coaches in the community that is, in a sense, more relevant in your life. We're not going to reach out to your mentors who are out there really putting in work. We're going to continue to try to go against the wall, go against the grain, and see things fall flat. And that's why you see from year to year, schools especially got to come up with a new program of academics, of behavioral programs, because they keep going against the wall and going against the grain. And that's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So the police departments, school officials, elected officials have to do a better job of identifying who are the people that influence the kids and all working together. Now, what happens in that is you have to have background checks, fingerprints, and things like that, and safeguard the kids, and everybody understand that. But there be so much red tape when people try to do good that it discourages a lot of people. People have brilliant ideas, but as soon as they bring them to the table, they bring them to commissioner meetings, they bring them to school board meetings, it gets shot down because of politics. And then now, what could have been a program or a good pilot program that can help the kids really flourish and really bring some life into the schools and life into the environment and the community, period, it falls on deaf ears. Because to do good takes so much work. And I talked to one of my friends and advocates in the community as well, Sean Thom, and me and him always bounce ideas off of each other. And we always said, why is it so hard to do good consistently? Why do you come up against so much flack when you just want to do right by people? Now, there's different styles and different ideas and all that good stuff. But when people see that you are trying to help people either get jobs, be educated, be fed, and feel safe, why do you have to deal with so much backlash? You get what I'm saying? So we as people who are leading the charge for positivity have to apply more pressure to those who are keeping the good movements stagnated. You get what I'm saying? And that takes everybody raising their voice, because what happens with people like myself, we become white noise. I've been doing community work for over 20 years. I've been an official nonprofit with Positive Vibes for the past 6 years. And a lot of times when I go to the police, I go to the school boards, they hear me out, but it's like, okay, here come JT with another complaint. Here come JT with another idea. And a lot of times that could be water under the bridge, so to speak. But when they get fresh faces, more people, is strength in numbers. And that's what we have to understand. And like Bob Marley said, he said, the people who are trying to make this world worse and a more dangerous place to live, they never rest. And that's how we have to be as beacons of the light and carriers of good news and carriers of positivity. We can't get tired, we can't give in, and we can't rest. We have to be just as consistent and persistent as people who are negative in this world. Because, again, it doesn't stop. It's on every platform you go to, from social media, the World Wide Web, and the community. You hear gossip all the time. Negativity spreads like wildfire. But if somebody say, hey, man, come check out this young lady. She got all A's from first grade all the way up to 12th grade. People might say, oh, wow, that's good. Good for them. And nobody support them. They are the people that we should be putting so much resources in, because that's what's going to pay dividends. Imagine if we took that young lady who got all A's and we put her on every platform. We crowned her, so to speak, to make her understand that we are behind you. She shouldn't have to worry about where her next meal is coming from with getting straight A's. And that's the reality of our situation. So what ends up happening is a lot of the kids who are trying to be positive, they turn to negativity because they say, well, getting good grades didn't pay nothing. Good behavior didn't pay nothing. But soon as I got in a school fight, I went viral. You get what I'm saying? And that's the things that we have to safeguard. We have to start putting up parental guidance on social media to the point where if a fight is being shared, that it gets shut down immediately. So nobody can continue to want to prosper off of other people's pain. You get what I'm saying? And it's the same way with anything. Like if you refer to bombing, school shootings, or anything like that, they try to limit the exposure that they give the perpetrator so people won't become copycats. And that's the same way we have to do with our youth. They become copycats to negativity because that's all they see. So we have to be more consistent with our positive message so they can be copycats of positivity that they see. All right. So after we come back after this break, we have our positive highlight segment. with none other but Devin, the young CEO of Apply Pressure. Stay humble, so make sure you stay tuned.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great healthcare for everyone.
There's a lot of books that our children read. There's even more our children are taught from in schools. Do you know what's in those books? Do you know what your children are being taught? What if it's something contrary to the Bible? And what you believe? It's time to check and speak up, to make sure what your children are being taught agrees with the Bible.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
All right, everybody, we're back with the Catching Up with Coach show. Again, thank you for your viewership. Be sure to like, share, comment. And again, it goes a long way for our show. We appreciate everybody that gives us the support and encouragement in the comments. So again, we thank you, and we can't share our thanks and appreciation enough. But again, I want to share with y'all, understand that you were born with a purpose, for a purpose. Everybody is here to do something good and change the world and affect it in a positive way. No matter how small, no matter how minute, you can affect something. Again, like I tell people, if you just say hello to somebody, have a nice day, that can be your impact. You could just be an encourager. You could just be somebody that supports behind the scenes. And if that's all you do for your life, then you did and fulfilled your purpose. Never get discouraged and down on yourself to say, I got to always do something so big and so grand and over the top. All right. God doesn't have us all here to do the same thing. And that's the beauty of it. You know what I'm saying? It's beauty in diversity. It's beauty in diversified gifts that we are allowed to share. But we have now for our positive highlight segment, Devin. Thanks for coming on. Let the people know a little bit about Devin. Let the community know.
I'm a 15-year-old sophomore. I go to CC Tech for welding.
Nice.
I have a brand, which is this right here. Apply Pressure, Stay Humble.
Nice.
But me and my mom were also manufacturers. Like, we make other people's stuff.
Okay.
Jerseys and all that.
Dope.
Sportswear, really anything. Bags.
Wow. Wow, I didn't know that. I didn't know y'all actually manufactured. That's dope, man. So how busy do y'all actually get? What's your biggest order that you can remember?
AAU jerseys.
Yeah.
We did AAU jerseys. My mom did most of the work, but we did AAU jerseys for the Hurricanes.
Okay. Yeah.
HER for the yeah.
And that was dope. I saw their uniforms. Wow, that was y'all work?
Mhm.
Man, that's nice, man.
And the bags.
Wow. See, and that's cool to know that we have a manufacturer in our own backyard. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that you can go to and say, hey, man, can you bring this vision to life and actually see that get done here locally in Cumberland County? That's big, man. That's huge. I did not know, excuse me, that y'all were behind the Hurricanes uniforms. Them uniforms is nice, man. That's dope. Good work. All right, so let's talk a little bit more about your business, your brand. What inspired it? What is the purpose?
Kids really aren't humble nowadays, and kids are really cocky nowadays. Like for sports, for instance, like say somebody's better than the other person, they just throw it in their face the whole time. They're not humble about really anything they do. So our brand is supposed to like give off the supposed to send a message. It's supposed to send a positive message that whatever you do, just make sure you do it 100%, and while being humble at the same time.
Wow.
Everything you do, you should be humble in. It'll take you a long way.
That's right. You know, because what a lot of people don't understand about humility, you know, even biblically speaking, they say pride comes before the fall. You get what I'm saying? If you get so cocky and arrogant about something, sometimes you ignore the pitfalls. But when you're humble, you can sit back and you can watch and be like, all right, let's see what that person did, what that person did. And you can kind of learn through comparison. You get what I'm saying? By like comparing and contrasting, weighing the pros and the cons, instead of, like you said, being cocky and arrogant. I could do this better than you. So you just run full-fledged ahead and not look at the tripwire. Now you just trip yourself up. You know what I mean? But if you humble yourself, ask questions, understand that you're not always right, and that's cool, man. Good stuff. I like that. Very inspirational. So, with having your own brand, CEO, school, sports, how do you balance everything?
First comes school,
Mm-hmm.
and then it would be sports, and then it would be all the business stuff. So it's all like, so right after school, it'll be sports,
Mhm.
and then right after that, it'll be the business stuff. It's really not hard to manage all that. You just gotta want to manage it, I say.
Nice. So pretty much like prioritize what you need to handle first and foremost. I
Yeah.
like that, man. So I know off camera we talked a little bit about some of the things that you were looking to get into. Can you talk a little bit about golfing and why it's important for especially young minorities to get involved with the sport of golf?
So a program called Mentor on the Green brought me into golf.
Mhm.
At first I didn't want to do it along with the rest of the kids inside the program, but after like 2 days we all wanted to do it, and then we
Nice.
just continued to do it, and that's when I started creating shirts for us, and then we just took it a long way. Our Mr. Coop, the one who
Mhm.
started it, he took it up with the Board of Education. We were there.
Nice.
Violent Public Schools got the word out on Mentor on the Green and stuff like that. So that brought me into golf. But
Nice.
there's also other programs that helped me, like Positive Vibes, your program. The program we were just talking about, Mentor on the Green, Sound Mind Body, all those programs, you know what I'm talking about, all those together. Those are our programs to keep the kids distracted. We need more of those.
Nice. And that's good, man. And see, that's what I like to hear about how you can marry the two, where you're in the sports, you have a business, and then now you got involved with golf, and now you did the Mentor on the Green shirts. And that's how it's supposed to work in community. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if you're interested in the animal kingdom much, but looking at National Geographic one day, they was talking about ants and how every ant has its own responsibility, you know, to make everything work, you know, and I think that's how we should be in the community. Everybody pulling their own weight, everybody working in unison, and then everything flows. You know what I mean? Because people say often iron sharpens iron, but also two pieces of metal that's not working in unison can also clash. Get what I'm saying? So you can clash two pieces of iron together and it's going to just make a bunch of noise that's a nuisance. So even with iron sharpening irons, it has to go a certain way for it to sharpen one another. You know what I mean? So that's dope how it complements golf, business, mentoring, incorporate that to where now you're inspired to try something new, and then now you feel supported because your brand is getting exposure. You know what I mean? And that's why it works to have diversity. You know what I mean? I think what happens with our kids is we put them in football, and because that's what we're interested in, we just say, you're a football player. That's the only thing I'm going to put energy into. That's the only place I'm going to invest my money into. But then the kid might say, well, I do want to try golf. I do want to try tennis or field hockey. Now the parent is like, because they're not too interested in it. Now they're hesitant to pay $150. Get what I mean? They paid $150 for football all day. And I think that do a disservice to a lot of our kids because it limits their exposure and limit y'all ability to grow. You know what I mean? Try new things, meet new people, and you'll see that people that may have not supported you over here will support you over here. Get what I'm saying? So you'll be like, all right, I'm not going to bump my head against the wall over here when I have support over here. Get what I mean? And then you learn something from each program. Each leader can instill something in you. Get what I mean? That's why there's no need for competition and stuff like that. So, good stuff, man. What would you tell other youth that may be afraid to start their own business? Like if they're like, man, I have these ideas, I can draw, but I'm just afraid, man. What if I fail? What do you tell them?
To just do it. I said to just do it. Because
Nice.
if you really want to do it, then you'll just do it. Plus, there's not really any other kids out here doing it, so it'll be different for one to start
Good stuff,
a
man.
business. There's not really kids out here with businesses.
I like that. And a lot of things that I share in my philosophy, I don't really like to try to put it on people, but history is my favorite subject. And when I look back, kids were always given responsibility, and I think we kind of dummy it down a little bit too much for y'all nowadays instead of giving y'all responsibility. Kids back in the day, when it was like a blessing. When you had kids, it was like, hey, this is quick turnover to where once he or she can walk, you were working. You were waking up just as early as everybody in the house. It was 3-year-olds carrying water, milk, getting eggs. Get what I'm saying? But I understand society changes, but the mind is still there. You know what I mean? And we just have to keep cultivating y'all minds earlier to challenge y'all, again, to do new things, to branch out, and work with each other. Because everybody always saying y'all are our future, but y'all are right now. Because y'all are smarter than ever before, because y'all have tablets and phones and exposure to more than any other generation. So when y'all have a question, y'all can just Google it right away. You can say, hey Siri, I need this, and and things start popping up. We didn't have that. We had to research a little bit more, and then computers started to get bigger as I got around like 10, 14, like, in the preteens. But y'all just have it in a device, you know what I mean? So when we approach y'all, we have to understand that y'all have ideas, and y'all know how to get your ideas out there. Y'all just need us to assist. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, a lot of leaders ask me, well, what is the problem with the kids nowadays? Why none of them have any drive? And I'm like, they have drive, but y'all want to be seen more so as equals, I see nowadays. So it's like towing like a thin line. You know what I'm saying? Am I making sense with that? Like, the average 14-year-old now is like, hey, I know more, so give me more. You know what I mean? Y'all want more respect. Back when I was 14, I was like, all right, coach, I get you, mentor. I understand, counselor. We were kind of like, not immature, but we just didn't have as many things, like you said, to distract us. So we had to kind of stay a little bit more focused. Y'all can branch off now and be like, hey, I want to know how the clock works. And you can really see it in 5 minutes. Get what I mean? We would have to wait until the clock store opened and hope that the person would talk to us about a clock. You get what I'm saying? So, good stuff, man. And I'm glad that you branched out and decided to apply pressure, stay humble, and pursue your brand. You know what I mean? Because it's dope. And the messaging is getting out there. Every time I see it, and you got the baby wear too, right? That's dope, man. You know, what was that, a onesie or like a little dress that I saw in the picture?
We got onesies, dresses, a whole bunch of stuff.
Wow.
But we kind of got baby models, like our family members.
Mm-hmm.
We got a boy and a girl model. On our page, you'd see what we make for the boys and girl models.
Wow, that's dope. Let people know where they can find you at so they can support your store and your brand.
Apply _pressure _stay _humble on Instagram.
Nice.
Underscore after every letter.
Awesome. And if people wanted to make a donation, how can they make a donation to your brand? If they may not want to buy anything right now, but if they just say, man, I see that young man doing excellent things, I just want to support, throw a donation out there. You know, you have Venmo and everything?
Yeah, we got everything.
Okay. So the best way is for them to send a message to the page and
Cash App, PayPal, anything.
Cool.
That's it.
Nice. So again, people, you see where you can support this young man. Go to their page. He just laid it out there for you. And again, support him. Even if you're not going to buy anything from the store, send a donation. Send $100. Send $50. Send $10. Just to show our young people that we are behind them and that we support them regardless. You know what I'm saying? You may be a little bit up in age and you may say, well, I don't necessarily want to buy a hoodie, but I'll send you the donation for the price of a hoodie, and maybe you can donate it to somebody else that need it. Everything is appreciated and everything goes a long way. All right. So in your opinion, how can we make the community better? What do we really need to start doing?
More events, definitely more distractions,
Mm-hmm.
more programs. Well, more kids need to join the programs, I'd say.
Yeah.
More kids need to join the programs. They really help. It's really distracting.
Yeah. Nice. And I'm glad that you said that, man, because so often you see the same kids get recycled over and over and over again because they have good parents that really want to see y'all do better. But a lot of parents, like I mentioned in the beginning, have to get more urgent to understand, like, no, you're going and you're going to try this. And like you said with the golfing thing, you didn't like it in the first couple of days, but once you was like, oh, wow, this is dope. You know what I'm saying? I can get into this. My little son just tried tennis for the first time. I just was messing around with him out at the courts. Had an old racket from my oldest son, and he was like, all right, let me try that. Just by mistake, he was like, I think I can do this. So then now he be asking me to go to the tennis courts all the time. We be out there playing all the time. And he really is serious about getting involved with tennis now. I wasn't even prepared for it. I just thought I was going to keep him occupied with just giving him his brother's tennis racket. He'd go distract himself. And now he really wants to do it. Every time you see him, you going to go play tennis today? It's about exposure. And like you said, get the kids involved. And once you come, you meet new friends and you get inspired by that. And like you said, it distracts you from everything else that's going on. You know what I'm saying? You get to be around other kids your age, learning something new, and it takes you away from everything else that's going on right now. It could be your escape, you know? And then once you hear people start saying, look, you can get a scholarship in this. What, I can go to school for tennis? Yeah. Actually, it'd be easier for you to go to school for tennis and golf and field hockey and volleyball than it would basketball. Get what I mean? And then they'd be like, oh, wow. Then you can connect it to where you can go for golf and then the basketball team might have an opening and you can go try out and be a walk-on, but you're already on campus. Get what I'm saying? Everything works like that. I went with Miss Carol to be a chaperone on the HBCU tour, right? You should look into that too. It's dope. We went to all these HBCUs down the East Coast. And we got to Savannah State, and they just on the spot was having a basketball tryout. You know, I think they had a new coach looking for new talent. So if we would have knew about it, a couple of the boys that were there was of age to go try out. But we just didn't have time to do it. But I was like, wow, they doing open tryouts on the university? That's dope. You go, you know. It's just always opportunities on a college campus. So if you got to get there in an unconventional way, at least you get there, and then you start making your connections, and then you branch off from there. You know what I mean? So again, thank you for that answer, man. So like he said, we need more distractions for our young people, things for them to just take them away from the world for a little bit. Take them away from their phones and video games, to give them a platform to learn. You get what I'm saying? Get them to where we can blank their mind, so to speak, to where it's a blank canvas, and then we can begin to repaint a new picture in their mind of you can do this, you can be better. You don't have to bow down to generational curses. You don't have to do what you saw your dad do. You don't have to do what you saw your mom do or your uncles or your aunts. You can get away from 3rd Street. You can get away from Buck Street, wherever it is. Not to say those areas are bad, but I'm just using them as an example that there is a world bigger than Millville, bigger than Violin, bigger than Bushland, bigger than South Jersey. And once you get outside of your comfort zone to get exposed to new people, new areas, you will be like, wow, man, this is a great big world out here. One of my friends, I saw she was sharing the picture. She just went to Africa, Malaysia Brown. She's a young poet. And she was just scuba diving, doing things with the animals, going on safaris, and it just looked so amazing. And you could just tell that she was living her best life through that experience. So many people that I know go to college and they start pledging for different sororities and fraternities. They get networks that they begin to build for life, lifelong partnerships, to where when young men like Devin get on a university and he starts building with other football players or other golfers, now they're like, oh, you got a brand? Now they begin to spread it around the university. Now they support you at the different homecoming events. They be like, all right, for homecoming, we're going to support Devin for the clothing. He's going to be the person leading in the clothing. So-and-so is going to do the food. And that's how it works. But you have to get outside of what you're used to. I had a professor when I was going to Pillar College, you know, up in New Brunswick. And what she said is most people don't have an experience in their life outside of 45 minutes in each direction, especially people that come from poverty-stricken areas. 45 minutes north, south, east, and west is their whole life bubble, their whole life experience. I was like, that's crazy. She's like, no, statistics say that most people in poverty-stricken areas have a 45-minute experience in their life. And I was like, that's sad. She's like, yeah, it's sad, but that's the reality for so many people. So imagine your only experience in life is 45 minutes to Atlantic City. That's all you think the world is. Or Wildwood. And you think that's just the grandest thing of them all. So imagine what your mind would see if you go to Niagara Falls, if you go to the Grand Canyon, if you go to LA and see the Walk of Fame, things like that. Or if you go to Nairobi or somewhere like that, different countries, get what I mean? And you see the world and you get that exposure. If you think Atlantic City is great, imagine if you go to Vegas. You know what I mean? Things like that we have to just continue to expose y'all to. So thank you for coming on, man. Appreciate it. And just keep doing your thing. All right? Again, like I tell people all the time, once you come on the show, you link with us. We're family. We already been family anyway. But again, if you ever need our support, you need the community support on something, let us know, and if we can do our part, that's what we're here for. All right? So before you leave, you want to share a positive word with the people out there just to inspire them?
Apply pressure, stay humble.
Nice. Appreciate that, man. So again, thanks. All right, people, make sure you stay tuned. We'll be back with more of the Catching Up with Coach show after these messages.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
Many people treat their health like a game. With Complete Care Health Network, it's easy to start your healthcare journey. Just select from our specialties and schedule online, by phone, or on our app. Our entire team communicates with one another, so everyone works together on your total health. Plus, we make it even easier with all of these additional benefits. Level up your health with us. Complete Care Health Network. No games, just great health care for everyone.
There's a lot of books that our children read. There's even more our children are taught from in schools. Do you know what's in those books? Do you know what your children are being taught? What if it's something contrary to the Bible and what you believe? It's time to check and speak up to make sure what your children are being taught agrees with the Bible.
At Mintz Insurance, we're proud to have been serving our customers for nearly 80 years, offering 30 different insurance products for your auto, home, and business. And to help ensure that you're getting the best rates possible, we give you up to 3 quotes for every policy, so you can choose what's right for you. At Mintz, we're part of the community, local representatives, supporting events, and proud of it. It's part of who we are. Mintz Insurance. Call today and find out how we can help you save on insurance, or visit us at mintzinsurance.com.
More than a century ago, General Tire was born, right here in America. Since then, we've made a name for ourselves by making tires you can depend on. Tires built to handle any road this country can throw at them, and relied on by every kind of driver. So you know that no matter where life takes you, with General Tire, anywhere is possible.
All right, people, we back with the Catching Up with Coach show. Man, that was an awesome interview with Devin there of Apply Pressure, Stay Humble. Excellent, well-spoken young man. And I have to definitely give a shout out to his mom, Dawn Holmes. I spoke to her off camera, and she's just starting a nonprofit called Spark, SPARC, and that's for young entrepreneurs between the ages of 14 and 24, and they're going to show them and guide them on how to start a business and get started for themselves. See, that's how it works. So shout out again to Dawn Holmes. You can reach her on Facebook, and that's spelled DAWNHOLMES. Dawn Holmes. You can find her on Facebook. And again, that program is Spark. She said they started last week. They had an excellent first meeting. And again, that is spelled SPARC. And that's dope for this, for young entrepreneurs trying to look to get started in a business between ages 14 and 24. And they're going to help them and show them the guidelines on how to get started with their own business. And that is crucial, and that's key, you know, in our community, to continue to cultivate young minds and challenge them. Again, people, we have to get urgent about our approach to what we're going to do for our young men and young women. One thing that I always try to tell people, especially in the community that I come from, is when is enough going to be enough to where we say, okay, this has to change. It has to change. And a lot of times I frustrate people around me because I don't like to take no for an answer when it comes to things that I just don't understand. Where I tell people, we've been saying we shall overcome for 50, 60 years, right? Oh, this is going to change. Let's have a meeting. Let's do this. Let's plan for this. And I'm like, well, haven't we been doing that for forever? Haven't people been getting shot and killed for forever? Haven't drugs been around for forever, it seems? And when are we going to really say, nah, something's going to be done about this from us first and foremost, and then we could worry about everybody else. But we have to look at our situation and really get real about how are we going to look in the mirror and change what we see day to day. And one method that I tell people that you can get involved in, if you don't really want to coach, if you don't really want to mentor to that extent, look at out your front door and see how you are impacting that. When you look out your front window, your front door, your side windows, your house pretty much, your house front and your area, how are you affecting where you're at? And a lot of people are like, wow, I never thought of it that way. I'm like, that's all you can control. If you can control what happens at your front door and in your space, you're doing your part. Do you keep it clean? Do you keep it safe? Do you monitor it to make sure no illegal activity is going on, either from yourself, from your kids? Do you take accountability? And once you do that, first and foremost, then everything will start to snowball to where it affects everybody. You get what I'm saying? As they say, sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine, right? One thing that I will never try to be in my life is a relationship expert. I have failed relationships, right, over and over and over again. So I would never try to pretend to be a relationship expert. But what I can give you some advice on is sports. I can mentor you on how to be a man, how to be accountable for your actions when things don't go right, when it's your fault, when it's not your fault, but you still take ownership regardless, just to be a peacemaker. So just affect what you can, no matter how small, right? No matter how in between. And that's all you can do. But most people just want to point fingers. But if you were to come in their area and see what they do in their household, or what they do on their block, or what they do on their street, and you'll be like, well, how you going to talk about things getting better when you condone the issues, right? And me, this is one thing that I like to tell people all the time. I do not like to outsource my problems. If there's a problem in the black community, I am not going to first look at the police department and say what they're going to do. I'm not going to look at the elected officials and say what they're going to do. Now, and I will take a vested interest if I see people who is a minority that I think should understand a little bit more than others in certain areas and certain circumstances. But I'm not going to outsource my issues and say it's your fault for what I do, or it's your fault for what my people do. I never believe in that philosophy. It's about us being real about how we as minorities, or how we as black men, black women, is going to help our community be a place where we are proud to bring our kids up in. And regardless of where you're at, you can affect it for the positive. One thing I tell people all the time is, people mention things about apartment complexes, the projects people call them. And people get mad at me sometimes when I say this. I'm like, look, I understand I came up in the projects, and I never understood why that's not the safest place for me. If most of the people that I look around look like me, tell me why should I be in fear of my life if my neighbor on the right, the left, above me, beneath me, all look like me? We have to stop making excuses to why this happened and that happened. We have to have the philosophy of the old school, where if you have salt and I have sugar, let's make an even exchange if you don't have enough of what you need and if I don't have enough of what I need. We have to get back to that. Your kids is not doing the right thing, I should be able to report it to you, and then we help each other. One thing that I share all the time is, everybody ignores the broken glass on the street or the sidewalk until it's their kid's foot that get cut by it, or their foot get cut by it. Then they say, when somebody gonna come sweep this glass up? You saw it first. If you see a need, fill a need. Now, if you would have just took a vested interest and said, all right, well, I can do my part and sweep this broken glass up, throw it in the trash, now nobody's being affected by the broken glass, including yourself. But if you ignore it and you ignore it and you ignore it, and then one night on a pitch dark night when you're in a rush and you're not thinking and you cut your foot, now you're saying, oh, why the government didn't come sweep this? Why didn't you could have did it. Do your part. As President Kennedy said before, don't ask what your country could do for you. Ask what you could do for your country. If so many of us begin to adopt that philosophy, don't ask what your basketball team can do for you. What can you do for your team? Don't ask what your school can do for you or your university. What can you do for your school or your university or your job or your business? Don't always be so willing and ready to always look for somebody else to do something when you can do it. It's better to give than to receive. I promise you that. That's a promise, man. And your life will have so much more fulfillment when you look at others higher than yourself. And some people will say, nah, I'm not going to adopt that philosophy. I'm the man. I'm the woman. All right. And you're going to live a lonely life no matter how successful you are. Learn how, again, like they said, to apply pressure, but remain humble. All right. I learned something from a guy in a shelter. And he told me, he said, what you have to learn to do in your life. And he said, the reason why I have so much peace even in this situation. And he said he learned this from a supervisor at a job he was working. He said, if it's water, let it roll off of your back. If it's honey, let it stick. All right. And that has really helped me begin to think a lot about my actions on the things that I allow to affect me and to get me upset. And it's hard. Life is a marathon, not a sprint. And one area of life that I try to tell people is non-negotiable for me is my children. I have a 15-year-old and an 8-year-old. And one thing I try to tell people is I don't need help parenting. I don't need help being a man. I don't need help raising young men to understand what it takes to take ownership, be accountable, and to become a man themselves over time. I don't need nobody's advice on that. Now, when it comes to helping out, teach them, mentor them, guide them, that's a community thing. What people make a mistake of doing sometimes is saying that young man is going to automatically be straight because that's JT's son. Or that young lady is going to automatically be good because that's so-and-so's daughter. You understand what I'm saying? Nah. And because what happens is they say, well, I don't have to make them do the drills as hard as the next kid because his dad should have taught him that. That's not going to always be the case. One of the ladies, our secretary in Positive Vibes, Sonia Brown, she told me one time at the basketball courts, and I thought this was also a profound statement. She said, you know one thing, JT, that I come to realize, they say the carpenter house is never built. Right? And I was like, wow. That's how it is so often. Like, people think because I'm a mentor, or they think because I run a nonprofit, or they think because I'm a well-respected coach and community leader, that everything in my life is going to automatically just always flow and be easy and just come together all the time. That's not the case. So when she told me that, I was like, wow, carpenter's house is never built. So even though they have the tools and the knowledge to build other people's houses, that don't also necessarily mean that their house is going to always be built and complete. Just because they know how to coach other people's kids don't mean they're going to know how to coach their own kids. And then that's where things like Don Holmes mentioned, spark, come into play. I may be able to teach my son how to shoot a basketball, teach my son how to play tennis, but I may not be able to teach him how to start his own business. That's where we need help with one another. You get what I'm saying? And the reason why I would say that I don't need help when it comes to certain things with my sons is because I'm a realist. I'm a person that pay attention to genetics and everything. So if there's things that I knew I struggle with and I see that in my kids, I'm like, all right, this is how we're going to attack this because this is what I needed when I was a kid. All right, I'm going to reach out to this doctor. I'm going to reach out to this teacher. I'm going to reach out to this counselor, and I have that already sold up. But a lot of times people like to butt in where they don't need to butt in, and that's where issues begin to happen. And I'll tell any parent out there, you have a right to be protective over what God has given you a stewardship over. You understand what I'm saying? I tell people there's not too many things that make me jealous, but I tell people straight up, the one thing that I get jealous over is my kids, man. And I know there's so many other people like that. My kids are my pride and my joy, and I would never want anybody to attack that indirectly, directly, because that's just something that's a touchy situation for me, based on some of the things that I experienced in my own life. So again, see where you can encourage and uplift people always. Life is hard for so many people, and we can't just say that just out of just being a statement that we just throw out there so loosely. Life is hard, and people need encouragement. People, they need help. They need people to be patient with them. They need people to walk with them. They need people to listen to them. Everybody is not able to just grasp the concepts that we throw out there and just think, well, he's a man, he should understand it. She's a woman, she should understand that principle. Everybody don't have that mind to do that. So a lot of times we have to meet people where they're at to let them know that I'm not here to judge you. I'm not here to point fingers. I'm here to help you, man. And even when they don't respond the way that you want them to respond, you are supposed to be the leader. So let them vent. Sometimes, when we work with the homeless, people say, well, how come that person acting like that? I'll be like, well, you have to understand. It was 30 degrees last night. That man and that woman had to sleep outside. Well, that's their problem. They shouldn't be giving that attitude to some. That's hard. Show a little grace, show a little mercy, because you never know if, things can be flipped real easy to where that could be you and yours, not knowing where your next meal is coming from. That could be you and yours not knowing where you're going to lay your head. Never look down on anybody, because I'm about to be a 40-year-old man, and what I tell people is life being hard is an understatement. I never knew life was going to have so many pitfalls, twists and turns, and people try to warn us about it, but you don't really get it until you start living life yourself. And you start saying, oh, wow, this don't come as easy as I thought. Money don't really grow on trees. And for the young people that's listening, that's why your parents and mentors and teachers and people stay on you so much, is because they understand what it takes to sustain success. They understand what it takes to avoid some pitfalls. They understand what it takes for you to grow as a person. And a lot of times y'all get the cart in front of the horse and you rush out and you make mistakes. And then now it's going to take you decades to fix what you did in a day. My grandpa would always say, trouble is easy to get into, hard to get out. There's so many people who have limited their ability to coach, and they're even better than me at reaching the kids, but they are limited because of a background check. Because of something they did at 19, something they did at 20. Now they can't coach as a 40-year-old because they have something on their record that they can't get off. They can't get it expunged. And they might say, dag, man, I was immature then, but I'm ready to give back. And they can't give back in a legit way for a legit program because they made a mistake. And that's what we are trying to help you avoid. Because 20 years down the line, when you slow down and you mature and you say, I want to give back, you should be able to walk in the door, fill out the paperwork, get your fingerprints, get your background, and hit the ground running. So listen to wisdom, all right? Listen to people that is trying to get you to avoid destroying yourself. And a lot of you young people have to stop being rebels without a cause and stop being so angry at the world for no reason. You have so many things at your disposal to help your life be so much easier. Like, even looking around Cumberland County, y'all don't understand how much of a gold mine this is than what it was when I was young. It was nothing but woods, dust and despair. That's pretty much what it was going through all these cities. Now at least there's more stores, there's more things to do, shopping areas, fun zones, things that you can participate in, more coaches, more mentor programs than ever before. There is something for you to do, but stop being in a rush to be an adult. Enjoy your childhood, because you are going to be an adult more than you are a child. And that's why so many people are in their 30s and in their 40s and their 50s. They are trying to live their second childhood because when they was a kid, they was moving too fast. Slow down, take your time. Your only responsibility is to enjoy life, get your grades right, and do your chores. That's all. And I guarantee you that is not the end of the world. Because when you get out here in the real world and you understand there's more often than not, more bills at the end than there is the month, you're going to be like, wow, I wish I can go back and be that 13-year-old again. Wow, I wish I can go back and be that innocent 10-year-old just going to a basketball camp. Enjoy your youth, because it don't last forever. All right, so understand that love is the strongest force in the world. If it wasn't so, I wouldn't tell you. I love you. God loves you. But most importantly, you have to love you, because you can't accept love from nobody else if you can't look in the mirror and say with conviction that I love me. All right? God is love. So it has to be the most powerful force in the world, because God, in my opinion, is the most powerful force ever in the world. He's everything and everything. You get what I'm saying? The beginning and the end, the Alpha and Omega. So if God is love, then love is the most powerful force in the world. That's the only way we can overcome is through love, through patience, through hope, through self-control, through long suffering. All right? Let's support one another out here. No matter what walk of life you come from, you never know when it's going to be your last goodbye to your family, your last goodbye to your sports team, your last goodbye to your friends, your last goodbye to your job. And you don't want the lasting memory of who you are to be something negative. All right? So again, I hope that you are encouraged to understand that you were born with a purpose, on purpose. All right? So many people get in their own way by just thinking that they need to throw in the towel because things get hard. When you face a little bit of adversity, deal with it head on. And again, understand that no matter how small, you are here for a reason. And somebody loves you, and somebody will give you a second chance if you give yourself a chance. All right? This is the Catching Up with Coach Show, again being brought to you by Positive Vibes Community Group on Quinn's Broadcasting. Thank you for your viewership. Thank you for your support. We'll see you next time.
This has been a QBC television production, in association with our partners and sponsors. QBC broadcasts on Comcast Cable Channel 22, and live streams its programming on Facebook and YouTube. All rights reserved by Quinn Media and QBC, programming that serves the South Jersey market.